You wake up feeling like a damp sponge in a rusty bucket, right? You keep pouring high-octane marketing sludge into your system, hoping for a spark, but your internal engine just sputters and coughs. You've been sold the fairy tale of endless productivity while being slowly turned into a drained battery. I'm here to peel back the plastic wrap from your daily existence and show you why your gears are grinding to a halt. It's time to stop being a voluntary passenger in your own breakdown. Smash that like button and subscribe to join the revolution of the wide awake. Fact number 1. Blue light exposure, a digital cattle prod for your pineal gland. You honestly believe that scrolling through your feed at midnight is just a harmless way to unwind before sleep, don't you? Big tech sells you this shiny window to the world, making you feel like a sophisticated global citizen while you're actually just a moth hitting a high-voltage bulb. Let's pull the curtain back on this luminous deception. Your eyes are being bombarded by short-wavelength light that acts like a loud alarm clock for your brain. This specific frequency messes with your internal clockwork, specifically the production of sleep-inducing signals. Instead of resting, your system stays in high alert mode, pumping out stress-related hormones as if you were running from a predator. Your biological rhythm becomes as messy as a tangled drawer of old charging cables. Are you still staring at this screen like a mesmerized zombie? Hold my soda while I reboot your brain. Hit like and subscribe. Go on. Fact number 2. Notification pings, a rusty jackhammer for your attention span. You think those tiny dings and vibrations keep you productive and connected to the pulse of the world, right? Corporations paint a picture of the efficient professional, always on top of things, while you are actually just a Pavlovian dog salivating for the next dopamine scrap. Let's strip the paint off this engine. Every time your pocket vibrates, your focus is shattered like a windshield under a hail of gravel. This constant interruption triggers a microburst of adrenaline, keeping your nervous system in a state of perpetual friction. Your cognitive gears are grinding against each other without any lubrication, leading to a massive buildup of mental heat that drains your battery before lunchtime. Do you feel your brain turning into a bowl of overcooked oatmeal yet? Scooby-Doo could solve mysteries faster than you can finish a single task. This isn't connectivity, it is a mental tax that you pay every second. Fact number 3. Poor desk ergonomics, a slow structural collapse of your spine. You've been told that a fancy chair and a laptop stand make you a modern office warrior, haven't you? They sell you the dream of comfort while your posture is slowly turning into a question mark. Let's look at the blueprint of this disaster. Your body is like a skyscraper with a cracked foundation. When you slouch, your internal supports are strained, and your breathing becomes restricted because your lungs are compressed like a crushed soda can. This reduced oxygen flow means your biological power plant is running on fumes. Your muscles stay in a state of constant tension, burning through your energy reserves just to keep your head from falling off your neck. Are you sitting there like a melted candle right now? Call a tow truck for your lumbar support immediately. This is not a workstation, it is a mechanical trap for your vitality. It is like trying to run a marathon in a suit made of heavy lead. Fact number 4. Ultra-processed snacks, chemical sludge for your engine. You think those colorful bars with healthy labels are giving you a quick boost to power through the day, don't you? Marketing gurus draw a picture of a vibrant athlete fueled by science, while you are actually just eating flavored cardboard soaked in industrial stabilizers. Let's check the recipe of this nightmare. These products are loaded with refined sugars and additives that cause your blood glucose to spike like a mountain peak and then crash like a fallen elevator. Your pancreas is working overtime, trying to manage the chaos, which leaves your entire system feeling like a damp basement. This cycle of highs and lows wears out your metabolic machinery until it just refuses to start. Are you still munching on that synthetic brick while wondering why you feel like a flat tire? Even a garbage disposal would hesitate to swallow that. This is not nutrition. It is a slow-motion fuel leak for your body. It is a scam. Fact number 5. Lack of natural sunlight, biological erosion of your spirit. You believe that sitting under buzzing office lights all day is a fair trade for a steady paycheck, don't you? The corporate world sells you a sterile, controlled environment, while your prehistoric biology is screaming for the sun. Let's analyze the weather report for your cells. Without exposure to natural light, your internal clock loses its calibration, like a watch with a dying battery. Your levels of feel-good chemicals drop, and your system starts to feel as gloomy as a rainy Monday in a graveyard. This lack of photons causes a slowdown in your internal energy production, leaving you feeling like a wilted plant in a dark closet. Do you feel like you are slowly turning into a basement-dwelling mushroom? Peter Pan had more brightness in his shadow than you have in your workspace. This is not professional stability, it is a photonic famine. It is like trying to charge a solar panel with a dim candle. Fact number 6. People-pleasing, a social tax on your vitality. You think that saying yes to every request makes you a helpful and indispensable member of the community, don't you? Society paints a picture of a saintly hero while you are actually just a doormat with a pulse. Let's look at the legal fine print of your soul. Every time you agree to something you hate, you are taking out a high-interest loan on your emotional reserves. This constant state of social anxiety keeps your nervous system on a tightrope, burning through your mental fuel like a bonfire in a windstorm. Your boundaries are as porous as a cheap sponge, allowing everyone to drain your tank for their own convenience. Do you feel like a lemon that has been squeezed dry by a crowd of strangers? The Godfather would never let people walk all over him like this. This is not kindness. It is a self-inflicted energy heist. It is like trying to fill a bucket that is full of holes. Stop being a victim. Fact number 7. Information overload, a digital dust storm for your brain. You believe that consuming endless news and trivia makes you an informed and sharp citizen of the internet age, don't you? The media giants sell you the illusion of wisdom, while you are actually just clogging your mental filters with garbage. Let's look at the hardware failure here. Your brain is trying to process thousands of data points every minute, leading to a state of cognitive congestion that feels like a traffic jam in a tunnel. This constant stream of noise causes your decision-making centers to overheat and eventually shut down to prevent total system failure. Your ability to focus becomes as scattered as leaves in a hurricane, leaving you exhausted by the mere act of thinking. Are you still refreshing that tab like a hungry pigeon at a vending machine? Einstein didn't have to deal with cat memes while solving the universe. This is not intelligence, it is a mental landfill. It is a slow decay. Fact number 8. Sedentary lifestyle, the biological stagnation of your fluidity. You think that sitting still for 8 hours is just a normal part of being a modern adult with a desk job, don't you? They sell you the convenience of the chair while your circulation is slowly turning into a stagnant swamp. Let's inspect the plumbing of your anatomy. When you don't move, your lymphatic system, which is responsible for cleaning out cellular waste, stops pumping like a broken fountain. This causes a buildup of metabolic sludge that makes every movement feel like wading through thick molasses. Your heart rate drops and your metabolism goes into a deep sleep mode, leaving you with the energy levels of a decorative rock. Do you feel like your legs have been replaced by 2 heavy logs of wood? A sloth moves faster than your morning routine allows for. This is not a career path, it is a physical lockdown. It is like trying to keep a car engine healthy by never taking it out of the garage. Fact number 9. Chronic dehydration, a structural drought for your cells. You think that drinking 5 cups of coffee and a soda is enough to keep your internal pipes running smoothly, don't you? The beverage industry sells you flavor and buzz, while your tissues are cracking like a dry desert floor. Let's look at the infrastructure of this catastrophe. Your brain is mostly water, and when you are even slightly dry, it starts to shrink and pull away from the skull, causing a foggy feeling that no amount of caffeine can fix. Your blood becomes as thick as cold syrup, making it incredibly difficult for your heart to pump oxygen to your hungry muscles. This systemic friction drains your power like a short circuit in a wet basement. Are you still ignoring that thirst like it is an annoying telemarketer? Even a camel has better hydration habits than you do right now. This is not a lifestyle choice, it is a biological sabotage. It is like trying to run a water slide during a severe heat wave. Fact number 10. Sugar spikes, a culinary roller coaster for your pancreas. You believe that a sweet treat in the afternoon is the perfect reward to get you through the final stretch of work, don't you? The candy companies sell you a moment of bliss while your internal chemistry is screaming in agony. Let's check the mechanics of this sugar rush. When you dump refined glucose into your system, Your insulin levels skyrocket like a firework, followed by an immediate and devastating collapse. This leaves your cells starving for energy despite the fact that you just fed them, creating a cycle of fatigue that feels like being trapped in a spinning dryer. Your metabolic flexibility is ruined, and your body forgets how to burn its own fuel efficiently. Do you feel like a puppet whose strings have been cut by a malicious toddler? Willy Wonka should be in jail for what he is doing to your energy. This is not a snack, it is a metabolic ambush. It is like trying to power a high-end computer with a bunch of rusty batteries. Fact number 11. Shallow breathing, a natural erosion of your oxygen supply. You think that the way you breathe is just a background process that you don't need to worry about at all, don't you? Society has forgotten the basic mechanics of survival while you are basically suffocating in slow motion. Let's look at the ventilation system of your chest. When you are stressed, you take short, chest-based breaths that tell your brain you are in immediate danger. This keeps your system in a state of low-level panic, burning through your adrenaline like a leaked fuel tank. Your blood oxygen levels drop, leaving your muscles and brain feeling as weak as a wet paper towel. This constant state of underventilation makes your entire existence feel like a struggle for air. Are you barely inhaling while you read this, you gasping fish? Even a broken accordion makes more noise and movement than your rib cage. This is not just a bad habit, it is a respiratory prison. It is like trying to blow up a giant balloon through a tiny, pinched straw. Fact number 12. Decision fatigue, a social tax on your mental clarity. You believe that having 1,000 choices for everything from coffee to socks makes you a free and empowered individual, don't you? The market sells you variety while your brain is being taxed into bankruptcy by every tiny selection. Let's look at the social ledger of your mind. Every time you have to choose, you use up a small amount of limited cognitive currency. By the time you get to the important stuff, your mental vault is empty, leaving you feeling as drained as a marathon runner at the finish line. This constant processing of trivialities causes a massive buildup of mental fog that makes even simple tasks feel like climbing a mountain. Do you feel like your head is filled with white noise and static? Sherlock Holmes wouldn't waste his time choosing between 40 types of cereal. This is not freedom. It is a psychological drain. It is like trying to navigate a maze where the walls are made of confusing advertisements. Fact number 13. Caffeine overclocking, a digital glitch for your adrenals. You think that your third double espresso is the only thing keeping you upright and functioning in this chaotic world, don't you? The coffee giants sell you the image of a high achiever while you are actually just a vibrating mess of nerves. Let's analyze the circuitry of this addiction. Caffeine doesn't give you energy. It just masks the tired signal in your brain by blocking the receptors that tell you to rest. This forces your body to tap into its emergency reserves, leaving you completely empty once the drug wears off. Your nervous system is being overclocked like a computer with a broken fan, leading to a permanent state of internal heat and wear. Are you shaking like a leaf in a thunderstorm while holding that mug? You have enough jitter in your hands to power a small vibratory tool. This is not a performance enhancer. It is a chemical lie. It is like trying to fix a broken car by simply taping over the warning lights. Fact number 14. Poor footwear, a mechanical friction for your entire body. You think that those stylish, narrow shoes are a small price to pay for looking sharp at the office or the party, don't you? The fashion industry sells you an image of elegance while your feet are being treated like prisoners in a tiny cell. Let's look at the structural engineering of your walk. When your feet are cramped, the muscles in your legs and back have to compensate, leading to a chain reaction of tension that travels all the way up to your neck. This constant muscular effort drains your energy like a slow leak in a tire. Your gait becomes inefficient, making every step feel like you are walking through deep, wet sand. Do you feel like your lower back is being squeezed by a giant pair of pliers? Cinderella's sisters had more comfort in their glass slippers than you do now. This is not a fashion statement. It is a physical burden. It is like trying to build a stable house on top of two crooked and unstable stilts. Fact number 15. Clutter, a construction mess in your mental workspace. You believe that a messy desk or home is just a sign of a creative and busy mind that has no time for tidying, don't you? They sell you the brilliant eccentric trope, while your environment is actually a visual parasite on your focus. Let's look at the blueprints of your surroundings. Every object in your field of vision demands a tiny bit of your attention, creating a constant background noise that your brain has to filter out. This filtering process is exhausting, leaving you with the mental energy of a used matchstick. Your space is a physical manifestation of your unfinished tasks, acting like a heavy weight on your shoulders. Are you surrounded by piles of junk that look like a landfill after a windstorm? Even a hoarder would think twice before entering your bedroom. This is not a creative sanctuary, it is a cognitive trap. It is like trying to do a complicated puzzle on a table that is covered in sticky spilled soda and old crumbs. Fact number 16. Artificial sweeteners, a culinary deception for your tongue. You think that choosing diet soda over the regular stuff is a clever way to stay thin and healthy without any effort, don't you? The food scientists sell you a guilt-free pleasure while they are actually confusing your metabolic sensors. Let's check the chemical sabotage. These synthetic compounds trick your brain into expecting a massive hit of energy that never arrives, leaving your system in a state of confused hunger and frustration. This metabolic mismatch causes your body to go into a storage mode, making you feel sluggish and heavy like a wet wool coat. Your gut bacteria are also being thrown into chaos, which ruins your internal defense system and leaves you feeling drained. Do you feel like your stomach is hosting a very angry and loud protest? A chemistry set has fewer weird ingredients than your sugar-free drink. This is not a healthy alternative, it is a biological prank. It is like trying to trick a hungry lion with a plastic steak and expecting it not to bite. Fact number 17. Iron deficiency, biological rust in your internal machinery. You believe that your pale skin and cold hands are just a charming quirk of your personality or the winter weather, don't you? You think you are fine while your blood is actually losing its ability to carry the fuel your cells need. Let's inspect the metallic integrity of your system. Without enough iron, your hemoglobin becomes as weak as a broken delivery truck, failing to transport oxygen to your organs. This results in a state of systemic rust, where every process in your body slows down to a crawl to save what little energy is left. You feel like you are living life through a thick, gray fog that never lifts. Are you feeling as heavy and motionless as a rusty anchor at the bottom of the sea? Iron Man would be very disappointed in the quality of your internal hardware. This is not a minor inconvenience, it is a cellular energy crisis. It is like trying to run a high-speed train on tracks that are covered in thick, old grease. Fact number 18. Social media FOMO, a social debt for your self-esteem. You believe that staying updated on everyone's perfect life is the only way to remain relevant and socially connected, don't you? Silicon Valley sells you the dream of community, while you are actually just a spectator in a theater of lies. Let's look at the social accounting here. Every time you compare your real life to someone else's highlight reel, you are taking a massive hit to your psychological capital. This constant state of inadequacy triggers a stress response that burns through your mental reserves like a wildfire in a dry forest. Your focus is stolen by 1,000 tiny jealousies, leaving you exhausted and bitter by the end of the day. Do you feel like a ghost watching a party that you were never invited to? The Kardashians are not your friends, and they certainly don't care about your rest. This is not a social life. It is a mental tax on your happiness. It is like trying to buy a mansion with a bunch of fake, colorful Monopoly money. Fact number 19. Multitasking, a digital short circuit for your productivity. You believe that doing 5 things at once makes you a high-performance machine capable of conquering the modern world, don't you? They sell you the myth of the multi-threaded brain, while you are actually just flickering between tasks like a dying light bulb. Let's look at the electrical failure in your skull. Every time you switch focus, your brain has to pay a switching cost, which drains your energy and lowers your effective intelligence. This constant jumping makes your neural pathways hot and tired, leading to a state of total mental exhaustion by noon. Your work quality becomes as thin as a cheap paper towel, and you end up getting nothing done. Are you trying to write an email while watching a video and eating lunch, you chaotic mess? A circus performer has more focus in one finger than you have in your entire head. This is not efficiency, it is a cognitive meltdown. It is like trying to drive 5 cars at once with only 2 hands and 1 steering wheel. Fact number 20. Mouth breathing, a mechanical restriction of your vitality. You think that how the air enters your body doesn't matter, as long as it gets into your lungs eventually, don't you? You are walking around with your mouth open like a confused fish, while your system is struggling for efficiency. Let's look at the engineering of your airway. Your nose is a sophisticated filter and humidifier, while your mouth is just a hole. When you breathe through your mouth, you bypass the natural cooling and filtering system, leading to a state of low-level inflammation and reduced oxygen uptake. This makes your heart work harder and your brain feel like it is trapped in a stuffy room with no windows. Your sleep quality drops, and you wake up feeling like you've been hit by a truck. Do you have the dry mouth and heavy eyes of a desert traveler? Close your trap before a fly decides to make it a permanent home. This is not a minor detail, it is a fundamental flaw in your operation. It is like trying to run a vacuum cleaner with a giant hole in the hose. Fact number 21. Tap water residue, a liquid lead balloon for your internal plumbing. You honestly think that the clear liquid coming out of your kitchen faucet is a pure gift from the heavens, don't you? The local utility company paints a picture of a strictly regulated, crystal clear mountain stream, while you are actually drinking a cocktail of corroded pipe remnants and industrial leftovers. Let's look at the mechanical failure of your hydration. Old city infrastructure is like a rusty car engine that hasn't seen an oil change since the 80s. As the water travels, it picks up metallic particles and chemical stabilizers that your kidneys have to filter out like a clogged coffee machine. This systemic drag makes your internal pumps work double time, leaving you feeling as heavy and sluggish as a bucket of wet cement. Are you still swallowing that metallic soup with a smile on your face? Pass me the wrench because your filtration system is clearly leaking. This isn't hydration. It's a slow-motion mechanical sabotage of your energy levels. It is like trying to wash your fancy sports car with a bucket of dirty, gritty sand and expecting it to shine. Fact number 22. Synthetic clothing, a petrochemical straitjacket for your pores. You believe that wearing those cheap, stretchy gym clothes makes you look like a sleek, modern athlete ready for action, don't you? Fast fashion brands sell you the illusion of performance and style, while your skin is literally suffocating under a layer of recycled plastic bottles. Let's peel back the fabric of this deception. Your skin is your largest breathing organ, but when you wrap it in polyester, you are essentially sealing yourself in a sandwich bag. This traps heat and prevents your body from regulating its temperature, forcing your internal cooling system to run at maximum power until it burns out. The chemical dyes and flame retardants in the fabric act like a low-grade irritation that keeps your immune system on high alert all day long. Do you feel like you are slowly being steamed inside your own shirt? James Bond wouldn't be caught dead in a suit made of glorified trash bags. This is not fashion, it is a biological blockade. It is like trying to run a marathon while wrapped in several layers of thick, non-breathable industrial plastic wrap. Fact number 23. Low-frequency background hum, a mechanical grater for your nervous system. You think that the constant drone of your refrigerator, air conditioner, and distant traffic is just the harmless soundtrack of modern life, don't you? Society tells you to ignore the noise while your brain is actually fighting a losing battle against invisible sonic vibrations. Let's analyze the architectural collapse of your silence. These low-frequency sounds are like a tiny jackhammer constantly tapping on your skull, even when you think you are resting. Your nervous system perceives these vibrations as a subtle threat, keeping your stress hormones simmering just below the boiling point. This constant auditory friction wears down your mental gears until they are smooth and useless, leaving you with the focus of a distracted squirrel. Are you sitting in a room that sounds like the engine room of a cargo ship? Hold my headphones while I try to find a moment of actual peace in this racket. This is not a quiet home. It is an acoustic prison. It is like trying to read a complicated book while someone is constantly humming a single, annoying note right in your ear. Fact number 24. Synthetic room fragrances, a chemical smokescreen for your lungs. You believe that plugging in a scented oil diffuser or lighting a fresh linen candle makes your home a sanctuary of cleanliness and peace, don't you? Marketing geniuses sell you the smell of a forest while you are actually breathing in a concentrated cloud of volatile organic compounds. Let's look at the atmospheric disaster in your living room. These artificial scents are basically liquid plastic and aromatic solvents that coat your respiratory tract like a layer of cheap varnish. Your body has to spend a massive amount of energy trying to break down these foreign particles, which leaves your system feeling as drained as a battery in a blizzard. This chemical fog disrupts your hormones and makes your brain feel like it's wrapped in a thick, wet wool blanket. Do you actually enjoy the smell of a laboratory experiment in your bedroom? Sherlock Holmes could track a criminal through your house just by following the scent of fake lavender. This is not a fresh environment. It is a domestic smog. It is like trying to enjoy a gourmet meal while wearing a gas mask. Fact number 25. Overstuffed bags. A structural wrecking ball for your skeleton. You think that carrying your entire life in a massive backpack or a heavy shoulder bag makes you a prepared and efficient urban warrior, don't you? The luggage industry sells you the dream of mobility while your spine is being compressed like a crushed soda can. Let's inspect the engineering failure of your posture. When you carry a lopsided weight, your muscles have to engage in a permanent tug of war just to keep you upright. This constant tension burns through your energy reserves faster than a leaky fuel tank on a long highway trip. Your nerves are being pinched and your blood flow is restricted, leading to a state of physical exhaustion that no amount of sleep can fix. Are you walking around like a hunchback with a mortgage on his shoulders? The Hunchback of Notre Dame had better posture than you do after your morning commute. This is not a utility bag, it is a mechanical anchor. It is like trying to sail a fast boat while dragging a heavy, rusty iron chain along the bottom of the ocean floor. Fact number 26. Digital subscription overload. A financial fuel leak for your mental peace. You believe that having access to every movie, song, and fitness app in existence makes you a cultured and sophisticated person, don't you? Silicon Valley sells you the all-access pass, while your brain is being crushed by the weight of too many choices. Let's look at the digital accounting of your sanity. Every monthly payment is a tiny tether that pulls on your attention, forcing you to feel like you must use the service to get your money's worth. This creates a state of perpetual psychological debt, where you are always behind on your entertainment tasks. This mental clutter drains your battery just as surely as physical labor, leaving you too tired to actually enjoy anything. Do you feel like you are working a second job just to watch TV? Don Corleone would never sign a contract that drains his bank account and his brain at the same time. This is not a library of options, it is a digital weight. It is like trying to swim across a lake while carrying 1,000 tiny, heavy gold coins in your pockets. Fact number 27. Excessive high-intensity training. A mechanical overheat for your biological joints. You think that pushing yourself to the absolute limit in every single workout is the only way to prove you are a dedicated and strong human being, don't you? The fitness influencers sell you the no pain, no gain mantra, while your joints are actually screaming for a ceasefire. Let's check the wear and tear on your engine. When you redline your system every day, you never allow your tissues to actually repair the microscopic damage. This keeps your body in a state of chronic repair mode, which consumes a massive amount of your daily energy budget. Your central nervous system becomes as fried as a cheap circuit board in a lightning storm, leaving you feeling like a hollow shell of a person. Are you hobbling around like a centenarian after your morning cardio session? A car that stays at 5,000 RPMs all day is going to explode before it gets to the grocery store. This is not health. It is a biological burnout. It is like trying to fix a broken bridge by hitting it repeatedly with a massive iron sledgehammer. Fact number 28. Hidden indoor mold, a biological fungus party in your walls. You believe that as long as you can't see any black spots, your home is a perfectly safe and healthy environment for your family, don't you? Real estate agents sell you the move-in ready dream, while there is a microscopic forest growing behind your wallpaper. Let's look at the biological decay of your air quality. Mold spores are like tiny invisible hitchhikers that enter your lungs and trigger a constant low-level immune response. Your body thinks it is under attack 24 hours a day, which drains your energy faster than a short circuit in a wet basement. This internal battle causes brain fog, heavy limbs, and a general feeling of being off that you just can't shake. Do you feel like you are living in a damp cave even when the sun is shining? You have more life forms growing in your bathroom than they have at the local zoo. This is not a cozy apartment. It is a biological hazard. It is like trying to run a clean laboratory inside a dumpster that hasn't been emptied in 3 years. Fact number 29. Carbon dioxide buildup, a stagnant swamp for your thinking process. You think that keeping your windows tightly shut to save on heating and cooling is a smart and economical way to live your life, don't you? Energy companies sell you the airtight home while you are actually slowly suffocating on your own breath. Let's analyze the gaseous stagnation of your office. As you breathe, you release CO2, and in a sealed room, the levels rise until they start to act like a mild sedative on your brain. This makes your thinking as slow and muddy as a river during a heavy flood. You feel sleepy and bored not because the work is hard, but because your brain is literally starving for fresh air. Are you yawning every 5 minutes like a tired toddler in a boring movie? Even a coal mine has better air circulation than your current bedroom setup. This is not energy efficiency, it is a cognitive lockdown. It is like trying to light a fire in a room where all the oxygen has already been sucked out by a giant vacuum. Fact number 30. Refined seed oils, industrial lubricant for your internal pipes. You believe that the clear, golden liquid in that plastic bottle is a heart-healthy vegetable product that belongs in your frying pan, don't you? Big food corporations sell you the plant-based lie while you are actually consuming a highly processed industrial byproduct. Let's look at the culinary disaster in your cells. These oils are extracted using high heat and chemical solvents, leaving them unstable and ready to cause friction in your body. When you eat them, they integrate into your cell membranes, making them as stiff and unresponsive as a rusted hinge. This systemic inflammation forces your body to spend all its energy trying to clean up the mess, leaving nothing left for your daily activities. Do you feel like your insides are coated in a layer of sticky, old engine grease? You might as well be seasoning your salad with the leftover oil from a local tractor repair shop. This is not nutrition, it is a metabolic sabotage. It is like trying to run a high-precision watch with thick, dirty mud. Fact number 31. Late-night digestion, a digital system error for your sleep. You believe that a massive meal right before bed is the perfect way to reward yourself for a long day of hard work and stress, don't you? The fast food industry sells you the midnight snack, while your stomach is actually being forced to work the graveyard shift. Let's check the processing error in your gut. When you sleep, your body is supposed to be repairing your brain and cleaning out toxins. But if you eat late, all that energy is diverted to your stomach. This leaves your repair crew with no power, so you wake up feeling like a half-finished construction project. Your internal clock gets confused, and your hormones start to act like a broken elevator, going up and down at the wrong times. Are you waking up with a stomach that feels like a heavy, cold brick? Your intestines are working harder at 3 a.m. than a Wall Street intern on a deadline. This is not a treat, it is a biological overtime. It is like trying to install a massive software update while you are also trying to run a heavy video game. Fact number 32. Dust mite colonies, a microscopic insect invasion of your bedding. You think that your bed is a clean, fresh sanctuary where you can escape the filth and chaos of the outside world, don't you? The mattress companies sell you the cloud-like comfort while you are actually sharing your pillow with millions of tiny, invisible monsters. Let's look at the biological disgust in your sheets. Dust mites live on the dead skin cells you shed every night, and their waste products are a major trigger for your immune system. You spend 8 hours a night breathing in this biological debris, which keeps your internal defenses in a state of constant, exhausting warfare. This is why you wake up with a stuffy nose and eyes that feel like they've been rubbed with sandpaper. Do you feel like you're sleeping on a pile of old, dusty rugs from a haunted attic? There are more creatures living in your pillow than there are people in the city of Tokyo. This is not a rest area, it is a microscopic battlefield. It is like trying to get a good night's sleep while someone is constantly throwing tiny handfuls of dirt in your face. Fact number 33. Sunlight deficiency. The solar battery failure of your spirit. You believe that spending your entire life under the sterile, flickering glow of artificial lights is a perfectly acceptable trade for a modern career, don't you? The corporate world sells you the office of the future, while your biology is literally dying for a single ray of real sun. Let's look at the solar decay of your energy. Your body has a built-in light sensor that needs high-intensity natural light to set your internal clock and produce energy-boosting chemicals. Without it, you are like a solar-powered calculator in a dark basement. You just don't have the juice to function. This lack of photons leads to a state of permanent winter blues that makes every task feel like you are dragging a heavy sled uphill. Are you as pale and translucent as a ghost in a Victorian novel? A potato in a dark cellar has more of a tan and more energy than you do right now. This is not a professional environment. It is a photonic famine. It is like trying to grow a beautiful garden in a room that only has one tiny, dim flashlight. Fact number 34. Social media comparison, a psychological mirror of infinite sadness. You believe that scrolling through the filtered, perfect lives of strangers and celebrities is a harmless way to pass the time and stay motivated, don't you? The app developers sell you inspiration while they are actually harvesting your self-esteem for profit. Let's look at the social mirror trap. Every time you see a fake, polished version of someone else's life, your brain registers it as a personal failure. This constant micro-hit to your ego triggers a stress response that burns through your mental focus like a hot iron through a thin silk sheet. You end up feeling exhausted and worthless before you've even gotten out of bed in the morning. Do you feel like a boring, gray pebble in a world full of shiny, fake diamonds? The people you are jealous of are probably just as tired and miserable as you are, just with better lighting. This is not a social connection. It is a psychological drain. It is like trying to win a race where the finish line keeps moving further away every time you take a step. Fact number 35. Electromagnetic field pollution, a constant static noise for your cells. You believe that being surrounded by Wi-Fi routers, smartphones, and smart devices is just a necessary part of being a connected person in the 21st century, don't you? Tech companies sell you the seamless life, while your cells are being bombarded by invisible waves of energy. Let's look at the electronic interference in your body. Your heart and brain operate on tiny electrical signals, and the constant cloud of artificial radiation creates a state of biological static that makes it hard for your system to communicate clearly. This systemic friction leads to a feeling of being wired but tired, where you can't focus and you can't relax. Are you sleeping with your phone right next to your head like it's a tiny glowing teddy bear? Your body is trying to play a symphony while 1,000 radios are screaming different songs at the same time. This is not a smart home, it is an electronic smog. It is like trying to have a serious conversation in the middle of a loud, crowded nightclub with no earplugs. Fact number 36. Cheap plastic sunglasses, a visual distortion for your optical hardware. You think that those $5 shades you bought at the gas station are a stylish and effective way to protect your eyes from the harsh sun, don't you? The manufacturers sell you the look of a movie star, while the low-quality lenses are actually straining your brain. Let's look at the optical failure of your vision. Cheap plastic lenses often have tiny distortions that force your eye muscles and your visual cortex to work extra hard to make sense of the world. This constant micro-adjustment is a massive drain on your mental energy, leading to headaches and a feeling of heavy exhaustion by the afternoon. Your brain feels like it's trying to solve a puzzle that is slightly out of focus. Do you feel like the world is a bit wobbly and strange when you wear your favorite cool glasses? You might as well be looking through the bottom of an old, scratched soda bottle. This is not eye protection. It is a visual tax. It is like trying to drive a car with a windshield that has been smeared with a thin layer of dirty Vaseline. Fact number 37. Screen glare, an input lag for your daily productivity. You believe that as long as you can see the text on your monitor, the lighting in your office is perfectly fine for your long-term health, don't you? Office designers sell you the bright and airy look, while the reflections on your screen are slowly frying your nervous system. Let's look at the digital friction in your workspace. Glare causes your eyes to squint and your neck to tilt, creating a chain reaction of tension that travels all the way down your spine. Your brain has to work twice as hard to process the information through the reflections, leading to a state of mental fatigue that feels like a slow-motion crash. This visual noise makes every task take longer and feel more difficult than it actually is. Are you leaning into your screen like you're trying to read a secret message written in invisible ink? Your eyes are working harder to see through that glare than a detective in a fog-covered harbor. This is not a modern office. It is a visual obstacle course. It is like trying to watch a movie while someone is shining a bright flashlight directly into your eyes. Fact number 38. Fluorescent light flicker, a high-frequency strobe for your brainwaves. You think that the steady, humdrum light in your grocery store or office is a boring but harmless part of the background environment, don't you? Facilities managers sell you efficiency, while your brain is being hit by a strobe light that is moving too fast for you to consciously see. Let's analyze the electronic pulse of your fatigue. Fluorescent lights don't actually stay on. They flicker at a high frequency that your brain has to process, leading to a massive buildup of neurological heat. This constant on-off signal keeps your nervous system in a state of agitation, making you feel irritable and drained without knowing why. It is like having a tiny, invisible bird constantly pecking at the back of your skull. Do you feel like you are walking through a dream world that is slightly nauseating and cold? A disco ball has a more relaxing light pattern than your typical corporate office ceiling. This is not a workspace, it is a neurological irritant. It is like trying to concentrate while a tiny, annoying alarm clock is silently flashing in the corner of your eye. Fact number 39. Microstresses, a digital paper cut for your mental calm. You believe that a few annoying emails, a slow internet connection, and a minor disagreement are just small things that don't really affect your overall energy, don't you? The productivity gurus sell you the resilience myth, while your spirit is being bled dry by 1,000 tiny cuts. Let's look at the social accounting of your stress levels. Each of these small annoyances triggers a tiny burst of adrenaline, and when they happen all day long, your body never has a chance to return to a baseline of calm. This constant state of low-level alarm is more exhausting than a single big crisis because it never ends. Your internal batteries are being drained by a bunch of tiny vampire appliances that you didn't even know were plugged in. Do you feel like you are ready to explode over the smallest, most insignificant problem? You have more unresolved issues in your head than a broken computer from the 90s. This is not a busy life. It is a psychological tax audit. It is like trying to keep a balloon inflated while 100 tiny kittens are playfully batting at it with their claws. Fact number 40. Lack of dietary protein. A construction failure for your internal bricks. You believe that living on salads and small snacks is a healthy and light way to maintain your figure and keep your energy up all day, don't you? The diet industry sells you the thin and energetic lie, while your body is literally falling apart for lack of building materials. Let's check the structural integrity of your diet. Protein is the foundation of your neurotransmitters and your muscles, and when you don't get enough, your brain starts to feel like a house with a leaking roof. Your energy levels become as unstable as a house of cards in a windstorm, leading to a feeling of weakness and apathy that makes even walking to the car feel like a chore. Your system has to start breaking down its own tissues just to keep the lights on. Are you feeling as fragile and thin as a piece of old parchment paper? You are trying to build a skyscraper with a bucket of wet sand and a few pieces of dry straw. This is not a healthy diet, it is a nutritional famine. It is like trying to run a massive construction site with only one tired worker and no supplies. Fact number 41. Antibacterial overkill, a scorched earth policy for your microscopic friends. You honestly believe that living in a sterile, bleach-scented bubble makes you the pinnacle of modern hygiene and safety, don't you? The cleaning industry sells you a world where every surface is a biological threat, while you are actually dismantling your own internal defense team. Let's look at the microscopic wreckage of your lifestyle. When you scrub away every bit of natural dust, your immune system becomes as bored and restless as a retired soldier with nothing to do. It starts attacking harmless things, creating a state of systemic friction that burns through your energy like a torch. Your skin biome, the protective layer of your body, becomes as barren as a salt flat, leaving you vulnerable to every minor irritation. Are you still bathing in hand sanitizer like it's a magical fountain of youth? Hold my sponge while I watch your natural defenses go on a permanent vacation. This is not cleanliness, it is a biological disarmament. It is like burning down a beautiful, ancient forest just because you were afraid of one tiny, harmless spider. Fact number 42. Non-stick cookware, a Teflon coating for your internal filter. You think that those slick, easy-to-clean pans are a miracle of modern kitchen engineering that saves you time and effort every morning, don't you? The manufacturers sell you the dream of the perfect, effortless omelet, while you are actually seasoning your food with industrial lubricants. Let's inspect the chemical friction in your kitchen. When these pans get too hot, they release microscopic particles and invisible vapors that your liver has to process like a clogged sewage plant. This creates a state of internal sludge that makes your blood feel as thick and heavy as cold molasses. Your metabolic machinery has to work overtime to clear out these synthetic invaders, leaving you with the physical stamina of a wet paper bag. Do you feel a strange metallic fatigue after every home-cooked meal? Gordon Ramsay would probably use your frying pan as a doorstop rather than a cooking tool. This is not a culinary shortcut. It is a systemic drag on your vitality. It is like trying to lubricate a high-performance engine with a bucket of sticky, cheap, liquid plastic. Fact number 43. Constant air conditioning, a biological freezer for your metabolic fire. You believe that keeping your environment at a perfectly controlled 68 degrees all year round is the ultimate sign of a comfortable and successful life, don't you? The HVAC companies sell you a climate-controlled paradise while your body is slowly losing its ability to regulate its own internal heat. Let's look at the mechanical stagnation of your temperature. When you never experience natural heat or cold, your mitochondria, the tiny power plants in your cells, go into a deep, lazy sleep. Your metabolism slows down to a crawl, and your circulation becomes as stagnant as a puddle of water in a blocked gutter. This constant thermal monotony makes your system feel like a rusty clock that has been left in a cold basement for too long. Are you shivering in your office like a lonely penguin on a melting ice floe? Even a polar bear gets more temperature variety in a single afternoon than you do in a month. This is not comfort, it is a biological hibernation. It is like trying to keep a massive bonfire burning while someone is constantly throwing buckets of ice water on the embers. Fact number 44. Tight waistbands, a culinary tourniquet for your internal plumbing. You think that squeezing into those trendy, slim-fit jeans makes you look sharp and professional for your big meeting or your hot date, don't you? The fashion world sells you a sleek silhouette while your digestive tract is being strangled like a garden hose with a heavy truck parked on it. Let's analyze the structural collapse of your gut. When your stomach is compressed, your internal organs can't move naturally to process your food, leading to a state of intestinal gridlock that would make a city planner cry. This physical restriction triggers a stress response in your nervous system, draining your mental focus and leaving you feeling as bloated and heavy as a lead balloon. Your breath becomes shallow, and your energy drops as your body struggles to perform basic functions. Do you feel like your belt is a snake trying to eat you alive? Donatella Versace isn't the one who has to live with your restricted blood flow and cramped organs. This is not style. It is a mechanical obstruction of your life force. It is like trying to run a marathon while wearing a suit made of thick, unyielding iron. Fact number 45. Emotional labor, a social parasite for your mental battery. You believe that being the constant shoulder to cry on for all your friends and coworkers makes you a saintly and indispensable human being, don't you? Society sells you the empathetic healer trope, while your own emotional vault is being emptied by a crowd of psychological vampires. Let's check the social ledger of your spirit. Every time you take on someone else's drama, you are burning through your limited supply of cognitive fuel. This constant state of high-alert empathy keeps your brain in a state of exhaustion that feels like a permanent hangover without the fun of the party. Your own needs are pushed to the back of the line, leaving your system as dry and brittle as an old bone in the desert. Are you nodding along to another boring story while your soul is screaming for a nap? Dr. Phil isn't going to pay your energy bill at the end of the month, so why are you working for free? This is not kindness. It is a self-inflicted psychological heist. It is like trying to water a giant garden with a tiny cracked cup that is leaking all over your own feet. Fact number 46. Cheap coffee mycotoxins, a fungal surprise in your morning mug. You think that bargain bin coffee you buy in bulk is the secret fuel that powers your incredible daily productivity and focus, don't you? The supermarket brands sell you bold flavor and energy while you are actually drinking a liquid suspension of microscopic fungal byproducts. Let's look at the biological decay in your caffeine fix. Low-quality beans are often stored in damp conditions where tiny molds produce substances that cause systemic inflammation and brain fog. Instead of a clean boost, you get a jittery, muddy feeling that leaves your nervous system as fried as a cheap circuit board. Your liver has to work double time to filter out these biological hitchhikers, leaving you feeling like a flat tire by 10 a.m. Do you wonder why your energy drink makes you want to crawl under your desk and hide? A Starbucks barista has more respect for your health than the industrial farm that grew those moldy beans. This is not a pick-me-up. It is a chemical ambush for your brain. It is like trying to power a spaceship with a mixture of low-grade gasoline and old, swampy pond water. Fact number 47. Digital hoarding, a virtual junk drawer for your thinking process. You believe that keeping 50 open tabs and 10,000 unread emails is just a sign of a busy, high-functioning mind that can handle anything, don't you? Big tech sells you infinite storage, while your brain is actually being crushed by the weight of 1,000,000 unfinished tasks. Let's look at the digital architecture of your stress. Every open tab is a tiny open loop in your subconscious, demanding a small amount of your processing power at all times. This creates a state of cognitive static that makes it impossible to focus on a single thing for more than 5 seconds. Your mental RAM is completely full of digital trash, leaving your system sluggish and prone to crashing like an old computer from the 80s. Are you still staring at that mountain of notifications like a deer in the headlights? Tony Stark would have deleted half of your inbox before he even finished his first cup of coffee. This is not information management. It is a virtual weight on your soul. It is like trying to run a sprint while carrying a backpack full of old, dusty encyclopedias that you will never actually read. Fact number 48. Stagnant hobbies, a rusting gearbox for your sense of joy. You think that scrolling through social media or watching mindless TV for 4 hours every night is a relaxing way to recharge your batteries, don't you? The entertainment industry sells you content, while your brain is actually starving for a real physical challenge. Let's look at the mechanical erosion of your passion. When you don't engage in active, creative play, your neural pathways for dopamine and satisfaction start to wither away like a plant without water. This leaves you in a state of chronic boredom that feels as heavy and gray as a rainy Tuesday in a parking lot. Your energy levels drop because your system has no reason to produce the spark of excitement. Do you feel like your life is a movie that you are watching from a very far distance? Indiana Jones didn't find the Ark of the Covenant by sitting on his couch and watching other people have adventures. This is not relaxation. It is a psychological rust. It is like trying to keep a high-end sports car in good condition by never taking it out of the garage and letting the tires go flat. Fact number 49. Toxic perfectionism, a structural blueprint for a total collapse. You believe that holding yourself to an impossible standard of excellence is the only way to achieve your dreams and stay ahead of the competition, don't you? The self-help gurus sell you greatness, while your nervous system is being ground into dust by the pressure of your own expectations. Let's check the engineering failure of your ambition. When you refuse to accept anything less than perfect, you stay in a state of permanent fight or flight, which burns through your adrenaline faster than a forest fire. This chronic stress causes your brain to overheat and your body to shut down in a desperate attempt to save itself. You end up paralyzed and exhausted, unable to finish even the simplest tasks. Are you still criticizing yourself for a tiny mistake that happened 3 years ago? The Joker has a more stable business plan than your current strategy of constant self-inflicted torture. This is not high performance. It is a structural disaster for your mind. It is like trying to build a bridge where every single bolt has to be made of solid gold and polished to a mirror finish. Fact number 50. Magnesium deficiency, a missing spark plug for your biological engine. You believe that your muscle cramps, eye twitches, and constant irritability are just a normal part of getting older and being a busy adult, don't you? The food industry sells you fortified junk, while your cells are actually starving for one of the most basic minerals on the planet. Let's look at the electrical failure in your muscles. Magnesium is involved in hundreds of chemical reactions, and without it, your internal wiring starts to spark and short circuit. Your heart has to work harder, your muscles can't relax, and your brain feels like it's being poked by 1,000 tiny needles. This systemic friction leaves you feeling as drained and fragile as a piece of old dry wood. Do you feel like a vibrating mess of nerves even when you are trying to rest? A basic AA battery has more consistent energy output than your current mineral-depleted nervous system. This is not aging. It is a nutritional blackout. It is like trying to run a massive, complicated factory when half of the workers have gone on strike because they haven't been paid in months. Fact number 51. Chronic loneliness, a social vacuum for your internal light. You think that being a lone wolf who doesn't need anyone is a sign of your incredible strength and modern independence, don't you? The hyper-individualistic culture sells you self-reliance, while your biological need for connection is slowly withering away. Let's analyze the atmospheric decay of your isolation. Humans are social animals, and when we are alone for too long, our bodies perceive it as a life-threatening crisis. This keeps your stress hormones at a high level, draining your battery and making your immune system as weak as a wet cardboard box. Without the social lubricant of human touch and conversation, your gears grind against each other until they are completely worn down. Are you talking to your houseplants more than you talk to actual human beings lately? Even Robinson Crusoe had a friend, and he was stuck on a desert island with no Wi-Fi or delivery apps. This is not strength. It is a biological famine of the soul. It is like trying to keep a light bulb burning when the wire has been cut and the power station has been demolished. Conclusion. You've been wandering through a hall of mirrors, haven't you? Thinking you were just tired while the world was busy plugging leaks into your fuel tank. You've seen the grime behind the curtain now. You know that your fatigue isn't a mystery. It's a mechanical failure caused by 1,000 tiny sabotages. So, what are you going to do? Keep running on fumes or finally start fixing the engine? The choice is yours, but remember, a rusted machine doesn't fix itself just because you ignore the noise. Stop being a victim of your own habits and start taking back your spark. Now, stop being a spectator, wake up, get moving, and reclaim your life before the battery hits zero for good. Go on.